Welcome back to Cosmoholics Anonymous. I am your favorite mother of three, Bougie Vintage, and today's video is 5 story times I absolutely regret telling. I'm the type of gal that does a lot of reflecting, okay, especially in recent years. And when I look back at some of my older content, I cringe. I'm like, oh my God. Especially because you guys know I am saved and sanctified, okay? So when I watch some of the old content and all of the cursing is coming out of my mouth, I said, oh Jesus, oh Lord Jesus is afar, okay? Like, I'm like, how did I carry on in society as that person?
I'm gonna plead the fifth because I don't know who that is.
You don't know who that is?
I don't know who that is.
And so most of the time I'm not watching my old content unless somebody like shows something to me or unless somebody like comments on a really old video because they're spinning the block on it. And so I don't really watch my old videos because I can't take the swearing. Like, it's just too much for my ears. It's too much for my heart, my spirit. I can't take it. And I used to swear like a sailor, okay? So I don't really regret posting these videos because of the cursing, okay? That's really not it, because of course when you watch the old content and then you watch the new content and you see how different I am, well, that's my testimony, girl, okay? All glory to the Most High God, right? But the thing about me is when I'm telling a story, I put myself back in that place so that I can give you the most authentic version of the story, the version of the story that is going to make you feel like you were there too. And also I want to tell the story in a way where it's like it just happened. So that's why I tell stories the way I do. You know, I tell them with a really fresh memory of the events. Sometimes when I told stories, they were like recent things that happened, but most of the time it was old events that happened, that took place, and then I decided, you know, I just made it content because why not get paid? Why not get paid to talk about the things you've been through, right? So let's go in order from, you know, least regretful to most regretful, okay? So the first story that I regret telling is the story called Storytime, My Cousin's BA Ex-Boyfriend. BA stands for BITCHASS, okay? I can't say it because it's swearing, but that is the title of the video. And I know that I'm not proud of this content because the video is on private. You guys cannot watch this video, but I'm gonna do you a favor and insert some clips so you can see what was going on. They're just outside of the car cussing. They're like, that's what we fucking thought, that's what we fucking thought, blah, 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 blah. Her boyfriend's basically in the front seat fucking crying, having a panic attack. I told him, I ain't never stayed. I ain't never stayed. The reason that I even remembered this story was because today somebody wanted to try it on Twitter. So if you're following me on Twitter, you probably saw a little bit of Gaza going on, and that was between myself, my aunt, and my cousin's ex-boyfriend. So this is the type of nigga you don't want to date, because if a man were to, like, I don't know, run up behind you and smack your ass, a random stranger, this is the type of nigga that won't do nothing about it. If a man were trying to, if you were running past you and go snatch your purse, this is the nigga that's not gonna try to get your purse back for you. He gonna let the man run off and try to hold you back and tell you not to chase the nigga after to get your purse. We end up at this red light and we're playing music and the windows of the car are down in the front. The back windows are up. Shooter and I are sitting in the back. My cousin's sitting in the front seat. Her boyfriend is driving, okay? We're driving in the car. We get to the red light. The music's playing. My cousin's out the window like this. She's like throwing gang signs basically. Not really. She just has her hands going crazy out the window because we're playing music and she was just like, well, whatever. I don't know if she had looked into the car that was beside us, but there was a car beside us full of a bunch of brown niggas, and they didn't like that she had her hands going out the window. They were probably drunk because it was May 2 for a weekend, so they're probably just riding around getting it in their fucking whip. The point is, we're at the red light. One got up out through the sunroof, and then the other one got out from the passenger side, walked around the car, and came to our car. And so Shooter's there. Shooter unbuckles his seatbelt because Shooter's ready to get the fuck out the car to whoop ass. And then freaking my cousin has the window up now, but it's not like all the way up. It still has a little crack in it, and the guy is literally telling her to get the fuck out of the car. Like, the guy's like, get out right now, blah, 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 blah. Now, the reason that I am not a fan of this video is because I think I was a little bit too harsh on my cousin's boyfriend. And I think a lot of that has to do with the situation that I was in. And oh, hold on, my kids are home. So I was in my brainwashed era. And so that is a big part of the reason why I viewed my cousin's boyfriend as soft or whatever. But it was such a silly mindset to have. And I mean, her boyfriend wasn't wrong to be so scared, because at the end of the day, we didn't know if the people in the car next to us had a gun or something was going to shoot up the car. Sorry, my nose is itchy. We don't know if the people in the car beside us has a gun or something's going to shoot up the car. Like, realistically, what could we have done if that was the case? You know, it was really dumb. My mindset at the time was so piss poor. Giving bird brain. Okay, giving bird brain. Giving bird brain. Giving bird brain. But like I said, I was MK Ultra. Okay. When I watch these videos back, I'm often in forgiveness mode and forgiving my younger self for those things. And so, you know what? I am so sorry to my cousin's ex-boyfriend now. They're not together, child. But yeah, I am so sorry that my brain was mush at that time, and that I would even think that anything was wrong with my cousin's boyfriend's fright or flight response. Because I was dead wrong. Dead wrong, girl. And I can admit that. Now, number 4 on the list of stories I regret telling is this story right here. She's surrounded, bitch. There's helicopters and everything, choppers, the lights is flashing down at the ground. She's a damn fugitive at this point, okay? Welcome back to Cosmoholics Anonymous. I am your favorite girl, Bo Vintage, and today's video is a story time. I actually promised you guys this when I told the mall cop story. This is another mall cop story, only this time I wasn't the one getting in trouble, bitch. This happened when I was working at Garage, and I used to work the fitting room a lot. Like, I was always in the fitting room, because that's where I like to be. Because if you're on the floor, you gotta do too much work. So I was so happy when I was in the fitting room. But you know who would like to come to the fitting room is the thieves, right? So the thieves came out to play that day. If you're gonna steal, you better just not let me catch you, bitch. Cause bitch, I'm Nancy Drew in this motherfucker. This girl is delusional. Like, you better just not play with me if I'm the one in the fitting room. If you gonna steal, bitch, you better be smart about it. You better be discreet. And you better not try to do too much things to try to hide it from me. Because if you're doing too much, I'm going to catch you. Granted, I don't really give a fuck if they steal or not, because I ain't losing no money. It has nothing to do with me. However, I don't like when bitches try to outsmart me. That's when I'll book your ass. So, let's get into the story. So, this story is called Storytime When Stealing Goes... Hey! When Stealing Goes Wrong. And the reason that I regret telling it was because I was one of those people that was doing too much at their damn job, okay? In the video, I talk about that. I talk about how if the girl just did her thug thizzle and didn't try to make me feel stupid while she was doing her thug thizzle, I wouldn't have handled it the way I did. But I wasn't getting paid enough for that, okay? What's my username on Instagram? I don't get paid enough for this. I was not getting paid enough to follow that girl down to the bathroom so she could change the damn pants. Like... That story is crazy. Like, I can't stand when employees at stores are doing too much. But mainly because they're usually doing too much when the person's not doing anything wrong. So if you have been profiled in a store before, which I obviously have, that's the type of people that I can't stand. When they're doing too much. Ma'am, you're profiling me. I wasn't profiling the girl. She was blatantly stealing, but like, I should have just let her be, okay? And then they're there telling me that I was making the arrest. I said, I am not a police officer. What do you mean I'm making the arrest? This is not my damn arrest. This is girl, there we have. So, you know, that story I definitely regret telling, and I think I got some flack for that one. I think people were definitely telling me you did too damn much. Oh, there's not gonna be, see that, is that video private? Oh no, it's public. Let me see. I'm gonna go see if there's what the comments said. So somebody said kind of lame for telling on her, but shrug emoji, still love you. So why aren't you a member, ma'am? Somebody said hilarious. I thought you couldn't follow people outside the store if they take something. Yeah, like I thought that was the rule of thumb, wasn't it? And it's so funny. I actually have another stealing story time, but it was my friend that was stealing. I haven't told that story. I don't know if I will, but I just remind me. This video made me so scared, even though I'm not a thief. This is so funny and crazy. In the States, in-store security has to catch them in the store. Otherwise, they can't do anything. If I noticed that I'm about to be caught stealing, I would have put the stuff back. And then everybody's complimenting my hair. What does my hair look like? They probably thought it was my real hair. So yeah, that video or that story is number 4 on my list of stories that I just regret telling. Now, if I could go back and relive that moment with the knowledge that I have now, would I have followed her out the store? Absolutely not, because I don't know what happened to her after that. I don't know if she lost her job. Girl, what if she was a single mother? You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't thinking all those things back then. I didn't have time. I was just, my ego, I feel like. My ego was in the way. Like, I was like, oh, you're not gonna get one over on me. I don't like when people try to make me feel stupid or try to get one over on me. I hate deception, if you can't tell. Okay, most of my story times are about deception of some sort. I don't like the umbrella of deception. I don't like being deceived. I don't like being lied to. Those are my pet peeves, and I think that's really why I took it so personal. But girl, she won't steal it from me. She wasn't in my house. Why was I doing all that? So that is number 4. Number 3, and I was bawling my eyes out in the car. I was like, I don't want to die, and I was really I was literally crying because I felt like the plane was going to get hijacked. Like, this is the mind of a 9-year-old. Okay, we didn't know that we weren't gonna be staying in no hotel, honey. We were going to be staying what we would like to call Baka Bush, okay? And we weren't staying in no luxury hotel. We weren't staying in a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, honey. We weren't staying in any star hotel. We were staying at my father's mother's house. My father's mother, at the time, she lived in what I would call a shack. So the third story on the docket is the story about my family trip to Jamaica. This one is in the middle because I don't necessarily regret telling the story, but I regret how I said some of the things I said, even though I clearly stated in that video, I'm telling it from my 9-year-old angle, right? So as a 9-year-old, this is what was going through my head at the time. That's the angle that I told the story at. So when you hear it, even if you hear me say that in the video, I'm still very harsh. And at that time, still not really understanding the way life goes in Jamaica, where I now reside, right? And so, take the high road. So, I think the thing in that video that really bothered me to hear back years later, and by years later, I mean last year, was my description of my grandma's house. Because if I was my grandma and I heard me describe that house, I'd probably be offended. But like I said, I was describing it from my 9-year-old self. But what was really cool was when I returned to Jamaica last year and I went to see my grandma's house. Baby, do you think it looked like how it looked when I was 9? I was stunned because I don't know what I thought, but I did not think that it was going to be put together, okay? I didn't think it was going to be put together. All I knew was what I knew. When I got to see the house last year, I was like flabbergasted. I was like, oh my God, it's beautiful and it's finished and there's a roof now. Like, you know what I mean? And so, you know, I feel like I just never gave it a chance, right? But as a kid, I was traumatized. I was absolutely traumatized. So I love that story because I think it's hilarious, but I feel like I should have been gentler in the way that I describe the home, despite the fact that I was describing it from that angle. So I could have used other words and I didn't have to call it a shack, you know? Even if that's what I thought it was, I didn't have to call it that. I could have said something like, we didn't have a lot of money and couldn't afford to, you know, help out financially in that way to finish building the house. It's not our house, right? But like my mom and my father, and you know, it's not our house, but it's still family. And so I know that my mom would send lots of stuff when she and my father were married, but they separated and we were going on the trip to Jamaica with my father. At that time, they were no longer together, which obviously would mean my mama ain't sending no money. Okay, y'all know my father was a working girl. You already know. Okay, and that story is not making the list. I do not regret telling that story about my dad. I don't. So that's not making this list. Okay, we got 2 stories left to talk about, but number 3 is definitely the trip to Jamaica because of how I spoke about my grandma's house, and then just like it was just really humbling to come back to Jamaica and see the house how it is now, and just like it's just night and day. So when I was there, it was only, was it 2 rooms? It was like 2.5 rooms. Like it was the kitchen, and then it was just completely unfinished, you know, lizards inside. There was outhouse. Now there's an indoor bathroom. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms. Oh, they live in large and in charge. Okay, so don't play with my grandma. Don't play with her. Okay, so there's 2 kitchens. Front veranda's finished and tiled out. There's tiles coming down the stairs. It's gorgeous. You know, it's painted nice. Like it's gorgeous. Craftsmanship inside. Like, girl. Okay, living room with a TV, couch, everything is decked. Okay, it is decked out, and so I love that. I love that it's finished, because when I got back to Jamaica last year and I decided I was going over to my grandma's house, I had no idea what to expect from the house. So when we pulled up, I said, that is the house? That looks nothing like when I left here. So I was really, really shocked. But I was super happy to see my grandma. Oh, maybe I'll insert a photo of me and her. So yeah, I was really happy to see my grandma. Actually, no, I'm not. I was really happy to see my grandma. And, you know, me and my grandma are thick as thieves now. Okay, so yeah. That was the 3rd story that I regret telling on my channel. Now, let's get into the nitty gritty. Number 2. I hate that the top of my head is cut off. I hate when I'm watching like YouTube videos and people like purposely are cutting off the top of their head. Welcome back to Cosmetics Anonymous. I am your favorite new mama, Bougie Vintage, and today's video is a story time. You're very welcome. The first light that we get to is Shepherd, so Morningside and Shepherd. Everything's fine at this point. We're listening to like French Montana in the car. We're jamming out, minding our business. I remember there was a bus up ahead, or was it behind us? No, there was a bus behind us. I think it was a 116. We were traveling. We're passing through the intersection. We get past Morningside and Shepherd, and by the time we were approaching Milner, the shit hit the fan. Okay, the second story on my list of regrets is story time when talking on the phone while driving goes wrong. And so obviously this story was sensitive because somebody passed away, and I don't know who the person was that passed away. You know, I only knew that after that happened, that I was looking online for the accident and found that the person passed away. And so the reason I regret telling it is because what if that person's family comes across that video, right? But the video is on private. But I'm like, what if that person's family comes across the video, and even though I experienced that, I feel like it's something that shouldn't have necessarily been content, because yes, I experienced it. Yes, I saw it happen. I didn't see her get hit by the car, but you know, I was right there. It's just sad, you know, it's really, really sad. And so yeah, what if their family member comes across my video by, you know, chance, right? Or like somebody that knows them or knows about that accident, or that accident sounded familiar to them, is like, oh my gosh, that's my friend's grandma or something. Like, I don't freaking know, okay? But if that were the case, and then they see this video, and then they kind of have to like relive that trauma, and it's just been reduced to content on YouTube, like, I don't know, that's kind of why I regret telling it, because I feel like now when I look back at it, it is a bit insensitive, and I think that's why it's private, because it's insensitive to talk about that situation. I feel like that's a situation that you talk to somebody about, right? You might tell your therapist, you might tell your friends in person, but not necessarily make a YouTube video about it. even though I didn't like make it lighthearted, I don't think, girl, let me see, child, because the video's not long either. I don't think that I was necessarily insensitive in my delivery, because I do tend to not take things too seriously. Life, I don't take it very seriously, you know. I always talk about that. And so I just personally feel like it should not have been reduced to content. So that's why I regret telling that story on my channel. And if anything like that were to ever happen again, obviously I would not make content out of it. Because yeah, if I feel that way about this video, I mean, hopefully that never happens again, because I don't want to ever witness anything like that. So that's number 2. And so coming in at number 1 is this video right here. But they came to me, they were like, I have a proposition. I was like, what is it? They were like, okay, there's a guy that needs his citizenship. Yeah. There's a guy that needs his citizenship, and I've been looking for a girl that will marry him. Everybody else has told me no, blah, 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 blah. So I said, how much money are we talking here? Because to get married to somebody, like, even if it is just for citizenship or whatever the case may be, like, that's a big deal. Like, I don't take marriage lightly or whatever, even if it's a fake marriage. But like, I wasn't sure about it, so I was just like, how much money are we talking?
Let me just go in the bush and weep. Let me just go in the bush and weep. I just have to go in the bush and weep. Really.
So this video is titled Story Time, I Almost Married a Stranger for Money.
Unacceptable!
And the reason that I regret telling this story is because in a lot of my videos that I would tell way back when, I was doing a lot of protecting and concealing of identities because of the nature of the video. In a sense, I was lying about the who's and the whys. And told to lie, right? And so if you watched my video from last year, I react to that video and I kind of tell you guys, you know, more details and what I was really covering up when I was filming that video. But I have a few videos like that on my channel. The Secrets Revealed video with my landlord from Hell story. When I did the Secrets Revealed for that video, I gave the missing piece of information about why I was getting kicked out to begin with, right? And so there was a lot of videos like that on my channel, because when you're in an abusive relationship, what you will do is protect the abuser. And so I was consciously doing that, withholding information, or, you know, making it sound like it was somebody else at the time, but it just didn't make any sense if you really put the years together, right? So pretty much the reason that I regret telling that story is because the thing about telling a lie is that if you tell a lie, you're gonna have to tell another lie and another lie and another lie to cover it up, and then you gonna forget what the hell you said in the beginning. And I wouldn't have to do no damn Secrets Revealed if I had just told it the truth from the beginning on what really went down, but I didn't. And so I had to go back after the fact, which is kind of cool to see because of all the stuff that I went through, right? It's kind of cool to see, like, oh really? I knew that story didn't sound right. Now it makes sense. You know what I mean? So it's cool to from that angle or that direction. But for me personally, I wish that I would have either just never told the story so that I didn't have to come back later and say Secrets Revealed, or that I would have just told it right the first time and was unapologetic about it, right? But it was essentially being pimped, if you want to put it that way, right? So that is the top 5 stories that I absolutely regret telling, or at least regret telling it the way that I did. Tell me in the comment section below which story of mine you feel would have made this list or should have made this list. I love you all so much, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.